All right, so 1 week from today, Congress is set to break for the holidays. And after nearly 2 years of war with Russia, American aid to Ukraine is in jeopardy of ending, as we just talked about. Republicans in Congress say they will not support the president's request to replenish Ukraine's war chest without new border security measures. Here was the president earlier this week.
Congress needs to pass supplemental funding for Ukraine before they break for the holiday resources. As simple as that.
Bottom line is we're urging the president to get involved and fix this problem. Senator Murphy's a fine fellow, but it's never going to happen as long as Senator Schumer is in charge of these negotiations.
You're laughing.
Why did he look back? What was he like?
What's the way out here?
It's just, Lindsay, look, they have to relearn how to compromise. What you heard from the Biden White House is saying, look, we want what we want, so give it to us. That's not how the town works, especially when another party's in charge of the House.
But Republicans are saying the same thing close to it when it comes to the border.
This is how it's supposed to work. The House passed a bill, right, that funded, I think it was Israel and Ukraine, right? And it paid for it in a way that the Democrats don't like, and I get that. The House is supposed to pass a bill, then the Senate's supposed to pass something that's similar, and then it's supposed to negotiate. They're not supposed to have press conferences and yell at each other the whole time. If this is what the future holds, none of it is going to pass before the end of the year.
But you've called this before must pass.
The Israeli support is must pass. That's the only one I think. I think here's what would happen. If you brought them up as individual bills, the border deal would fail, Ukraine would fail, Taiwan would fail, and Israel would pass. And the reason they're not coming up individually is that people want more than just one.
But, Mick, you are a fiscal hawk. You've always been a fiscal hawk. And both of us know, because of Article 5, if this war does not stop in Ukraine, it is going to be far more expensive. So I don't understand why we would not support Ukraine now so that we don't have that expense of having to get involved with our own military.
I do support paying for it. There's no question about it. I'm fine with paying for it with the IRS funding. I'm fine for paying for it another way. I think one of the reasons we're so heavily in debt is we don't pay for stuff. But I don't know if that's the strongest argument, because I think I can make the exact opposite argument that the more money we spend, the more desperate Russia is going to get. They invade Poland and draw us into the war. So I think you can see it both ways. If you're making the argument that it's cheaper to do it this way.
Folks in defense are arguing that we're weakening Russia in Ukraine. And so it doesn't make sense to me when we've got fiscal hawks saying we want to just wait and spend more.
You've already got Ukrainian soldiers being draft dodgers at this point. You have a situation where without more support, without heightened levels of support, the democracy there is bound to tumble. And my biggest fear is that we will also see Russia do what they've always planned.
So let me ask you, I'll ask you the same question I asked the Congresswoman. What asylum changes are you willing to endorse in order for there to be a deal?
None of the extreme ones that we've seen be put forth by the Republicans currently. I think that there are some that are notable.
And I'm not putting this on you, but just for the audience, that's kind of what you're going to hear from Democrats and Republicans.
Right. Well, that's your point. But the problem is Republicans are on the right side of immigration right now, according to all the polls. And so
I think
we all have an issue.
Yeah. No, they're on the right side of their voters, so they're utilizing this to do it.
The third most important issue for all American voters right now is immigration, point blank, Republican or Democrat. And
I'm from Chicago. I personally, fundamentally understand what is happening with literally the busloads of people who have been sent to my city and what is the crisis that is there. So there are a lot of people who are wanting to have more security at the border. However, those same people are not arguing for the extreme policies that we're seeing come from the far right.
I think what you're hearing, though, is exactly why Congress is at impasse. That's the headline right here, right? It's what happened to the days when we could all talk about things that could be on the table. What are the possibilities that we might be able to move forward on? I think a lot of Republicans are willing to fund Ukraine if they know what's at stake. What are the accountability measures that are in place? And I think that's a reasonable thing to ask of anyone on any side of the
But Denise, you know that it's going to open up the entire negotiation, because you need to, before you make a line to get on a bus, you got to know what the rules are to get on the bus.
Isn't it worth it?
And we don't have it. I agree. We should do it. Now is the time. Are they going to do it?
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.